All right, I have returned and moved everything in the process of hitting record. Okay, so normally I use 5 of these little dudes, but since I made up a bunch of resin, more than I meant to, I put some of them in the bigger ones just to make life easier. So when I made this set, I used these colors. I used a copper, a white, and sunset gold. And I like the way that looked. Like I said, I wanted a little more red. I didn't like the top, but this is pretty cool as far as the mica powder colors go. So I'm gonna keep using those, I think. It might be worth, actually, now that I think about it, switching out for red mica powder. This is a Dicetober Cardiac Red. These are all Pearl X. So what if, maybe instead of the gold, I like the gold, maybe instead of the copper, maybe I do gold, red, or gold, black, and white. And then for my liquidy parts, transparent parts, I've got a resin colorant, and I've been using a red resin colorant also, but just for funsies, I'm going to try an alcohol ink this time. I don't know if it'll work. This is all an experimentation. So, which one of these has the most? Probably this one. So I'm going to do red in this one. That's 2 reds. I don't know, we'll see. We will see how it goes, because this is all just me trying out things. So, I think I kind of want a lot of mica powder. I've learned it works better when you kind of go overboard with the mica powder. I'm used to using tiny, tiny bits, so it's crazy to me to put that much mica powder in. But it seems to work better that way. So, get some of that sunset gold. That's partly why I'm using less Dicetober and more Pearl X. I actually don't know that Pearl X is cheaper, but it feels cheaper because I buy it in smaller packs, so the packs are cheaper. But actually, now that I think about it, it's probably more expensive overall. So, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't be using the Pearl X. So something like that. I am not in any way scientific about my quantities, as you can tell. So then I just stir them up, right? And Pearl X, mica powder is weird as far as stirring. That's the other reason I kind of wanted to use these big things, is it would make it easier to stir them up properly, because I never get them very well stirred when they're in the little ones. There's not enough space to really like go at it, right? Now, if I weren't using a pressure pot, I would not be going at it like this. I would be a lot more careful about my stirring because I'd be a lot more concerned about bubbles. But since I am using a pressure pot, I'm not as worried about bubbles. So I also know most people like use different stirring things. I don't. I just like wipe down mine. I'm so much less careful than everybody else, you guys. I'm just like, la la la, do a thing, it's cool. And, you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but it's what I do. I don't like using different stirring sticks because I'm lazy. That's what it comes down to. So, I don't. I just use the same one, and it's not even really a stirring stick. It's like a free thing that came with one of my dice. Or not dice, but like, I don't know, probably like the silicone mats or something, right? Maybe the stirring cups. Just came with a free like number of little things. So I just use that for all my stirring needs. And like, it works. I don't know. So that's cool. It shouldn't, but it does. I mean, I don't know why it shouldn't, but it's whatever. I also like use this little guy for when I need tiny measurements, which is just one of these that the little like fluffy bit fell off finally. So it works as a spoon as well. So yeah. I haven't found like the ideal tools for anything, so I just use what I've got, I guess. The little shovel spoon that I used to pour out the mica powders I got as a free thing from Glitter Hippo, I think. So basically, all of my stirring implements are free with, or not maybe free, but part of a package deal with something else. The nice thing about using the art and glue, which is part of why I decided to use that today instead of the Crit Cast, which is what I've been using, is it has a much longer work time. That's kind of a plus and a minus. The plus is I don't have to like stress about my time while I'm stirring things, which I kind of have been with the Crit Cast because it gels up so fast. The minus is I'm not sure if letting it gel up a little bit is kind of useful for this process because I haven't done it before, right? So it's all new to me. Okay, so let's do the black. And I've been doing, I don't know, I don't remember exactly because I'm bad about writing things down, maybe like 6 drops. Let's see what that looks like. And look at all those bubbles you can see. Since they're all on top, I'm just gonna burn them off real fast. I also don't, well actually I do have a heat torch, but I don't use it for bubbles. I typically just use a little lighter. Why, you ask? Because it's easy and it's here. That's pretty much my reason for everything. Okay, so the resin colorant cracks me up because it's like 3 drops is enough to make anything super opaque or super dark. And I'm like, yeah, but how much resin are you using? 3 drops in what? I find that 3 drops is not enough to make anything very dark. So I don't know what kind of resin they're using. Or what amount of resin they're using. So this isn't really dark. But maybe I don't want it. Well, I don't know, I'll put in a couple more drops, I guess. So I do want it to be dark. And now that I'm changing out the gold or the copper for red, maybe I'll need that contrast since I'm going to use red for the other transparent color as well. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see, guys. This is an adventure. So what I've learned in dice, at least with my dice, and I don't have resin paste, which might be the problem, is that this dragon scale technique does not, oh, this is locked on, there we go, does not give me the dragon scales, right? It gives me just kind of a cool dirty pour effect, actually. I would love the scales, but I don't think it's going to work without it being a much bigger or flatter, you know, like a coaster type of thing. That is a little orange. Doesn't look as orange on the screen, but it is very orange in real life. So maybe this is why I was using resin colorant. Let's do 3 more. Again, this is the first time I've used alcohol ink with this, so I have no idea what I need to do or how it'll work. I just know I need some kind of transparent color that's less heavy than the mica powder. So I thought it might be interesting to try alcohol ink just to see how it goes. And this is staying orange. Huh. Well, you know, sometimes things just work out funny. I almost want to put in some red resin colorant as well. I don't know how resin colorant and alcohol ink work together. Just do a couple more drops. It's more alcohol ink than whoa, that's a few more drops than I like to use. I like to not use very much alcohol ink because, you know, carrying problems. But, all right, so what I am learning, it really looks a lot redder from your perspective. For mine, it's very orange. So what I am learning is that Art and Glow resin and Red T-Rex together combine to form orange, not red. Good to know. I should write that down somewhere. Will I? Probably not. And if I did, would I remember to look? Nope. Because that's how I roll. Super good at keeping track of things. Okay, so now I've got my little colors. I've got lots of bubbles. It doesn't really work super well to go in here, but you know, it's worth a try. Like I said, I use a pressure pot, so I'm not super concerned about bubbles, but I do like to get rid of like the really easy, obvious ones, because why not, right? Okay, so let's pull, oops, sorry about that. Pull out my mold. Now the way this technique is supposed to work is you put in a layer of transparent and then a couple layers of mica and then a layer of transparent and a couple layers of mica, etc., etc. And the mica basically kind of dirty pours down, or not dirty pours, but like kind of petri pours. And in the real cool world of resin coasters, and this might be, again, because I don't have pigment paste, it actually like kind of creates a crackle effect. Now mine doesn't really have a crackle effect at all, but it looks cool. It's like a cool dirty pour swirly thing. Towards the top you can tell that my colors were sort of gelling or curing, so they have more of a distinct line of where things were happening. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to avoid by using the Art and Glow instead of the Crit Cast today. If we look at the D2, not so much from this side, but this side, see, we still don't have the crackle effect that they have in coasters, but we kind of maybe have a little more, I don't know, not really. So it doesn't work the same in dice, or I don't have pigment paste and stuff, so it's not working. But it still works out kind of cool. If we look at the D6, I also really like the way that in some of them, you can sort of see that the transparent is kind of collected along the edges. And it almost gives the effect of having a blank in there, but there is no blank. But again, the top is just really boring. And I think that that is because we put a cap on, right? And I have something on the cap. So I don't know if that's really preventable. What I would like to do in future, but not today because I accidentally made too much resin, is to just end it, like towards the top, but not at the top. Put it in a pressure pot, let it cure, and then put on a clear resin top later. And I think that might work a lot better and look cooler. I tried using just transparent on the top, but it made the whole thing too sort of unsaturated and I didn't like it. I don't have a copy of that right here at my desk, but that's what happened. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did in this one, which was I started with red. You can't tell, but that's what I started with. So I'm going to do that same thing because I kind of liked that better than starting with the black, which made everything look really black. And we're just going to put in a little bit into each little dice hole. And I find that I always start out with less with the first one and then it becomes more with later ones. Because I'm bad at judging. And I don't want to use all of this, I want to use about half of it. Because that's the idea that I'm very bad at. And of course, I've got way more than I need for this mold made up. So, maybe another drop here. But I'm not going to do the extra bits until after I finished this mold, just to, because I've got like a couple more dice that I could, you know, sort of just make up molds. But I want to make sure I have enough for like the main set, right? Okay, so now that that is done, my nose is super itchy. So just take a moment to take off my respirator and itch my nose. I'm gonna do gold. No, I don't know if I want to do red on red because they kind of clash actually. This is probably a bad combination because this red turned out so orange. Yeah, I'm gonna do gold. So again, I'm just gonna put a little bit in each one. I'm gonna try to use about half of my gold I don't think this set's going to turn out super great. It's rather cold right now, so that's why the resin is so thick. It's not that it's like curing early, it's just that it's really cold. Not really cold, but sort of cold. So the idea is that you put in each color sort of on top of the other color, right? Like, you know, this would go right in the middle of this. Obviously, that's kind of hard to do with dice. Like, I never get it exact. That might also be why I never get quite the cool crackle effect. But that's the concept. So you like make a circle within a circle within a circle in the very middle of your thing. Ooh, that was a lot of gold. And you get a cool effect when you do that. Oops. Of course, when you fail at doing that, it doesn't help. I can't see anything because I've got the camera set up like kind of right in the way. This is not good. Also, my desk, I tried to level it yesterday, but I don't think it's very well leveled, even still. But all my little leveler things I put somewhere else. But I'm just going to slide. That's way over leveled. So let's smush it down a little bit. That's still over leveled. I have all these like little envelopes that I usually use for like a quick leveling, but they are not right here right now. I wonder, no, that wouldn't work. Well, whatever, we'll just over level it and then under level it and maybe it'll even out. Okay, so we did gold. Now I'm gonna do red. No, I wanna do white now. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. This is all a crazy, crazy thing that we're trying to figure out together. So the white seems like it's like this important thing that like everybody uses always. And I'm not positive why. If I had my way, I don't think I would use white. Because I'm trying to go for like a red dragon, right? This orange is not gonna help. But, so like, I don't know if the white really works, but I'm gonna use it anyway, because everybody uses it. And maybe next time I'll try not using it and see how that works. The other problem I am learning is that this has the logo on the bottom, which I like for sanding and stuff. Like that makes it a lot better because I don't have to sand the logo side. But I don't think it works very well with this because it doesn't spread out evenly across the bottom of that detail. And I think we really want it to spread out evenly. I think that is part of why the one that I was just holding up earlier worked better, because that was actually from a different, oops, now I've got resin on it, from a different mold. Crap. Where this was on the top. So this bottom could sort of turn out cooler. It could spread more evenly. That was a lot of white. Oh, well, so it goes. Okay, so now I want to do another transparent color. So I'm going to do the black this time instead of red first. I kind of want to begin and end on red. I don't know if that's good, but when I ended on black once, it just got really dark. So, you know, we're trying to figure out how it works, right? It's experimentation here. And obviously I'm doing a slightly different amount in each one because I kind of want to be at about the same place in the dice, and the dice are different sizes. Is it perfect? God, no. But that's the idea. So coming in with the red mica powder as late as we are, because I'm going to do that next, might not work out the way I want it to, because I want that red to be there, right? But, you know, we're experimenting. I'm sort of trying to figure out how the colors end up influencing themselves. So I try not to change a bunch of things in each run. This time I used alcohol ink and I changed the copper to red, so that was kind of, and I changed my order. So that was kind of a big change. So this might not be very educational. Ooh, I like that black and red. That's what I want. I want a black and red. Maybe I should just use black and red and just like go back and forth. And a little bit of gold. To see, like that combination there, that's kind of what I'm going for. The rest is just like filler practically. I wonder if I started with black and then did red, if that would sort of become a more dominant color combination. Like, I don't know if it's the starting colors that become more dominant or if it's like the middle colors. Pretty sure it's not the last colors. But it might be if you're working with resin that takes a little longer to cure. Like this. Right, because with, before it was curing up too early, or not maybe too early, but earlier in the process. Let's do white again. I don't know. Sort of begin and end with like the gold, or the gold. Usually people do white right after the second transparent, so I did red, I guess, instead. I didn't really think about that. That's starting to get full, so use a little less. Same with this one. It's definitely cooling down. I know it looks like it's heating up because it's getting thicker, but I think it's actually cooling down because I had it like sort of warmed up in my hands when I was stirring it. Oh, that's a big chunk. Because it's definitely nowhere near its pot life at this point, this resin. So we've got an hour with this stuff. And I'm used to working on a 20-minute time scale, so I know that this is not there. So I've been doing this in 20-minute chunks lately. And although I haven't been talking, I've been doing the exact same thing, right? Okay. So there's white. Never know how. Whoa! Okay, there's a lot of white. That's an overkill on white. Also, this is now balanced the other way, so I'm going to unbalance it. I really want something that's just the right size. But I cleaned off my desk. Now it's not there. I could fold up an old Zona paper. Maybe that'll make it about right. I can't tell. Okay, so now we need to the transparent again, so we'll do black again. I know we just did black, but I want to stop with red. So, do black twice in the middle. And I did that last time, and things did end up rather dark, but I kind of want that right, because I'm looking for like a red dragon. That's the goal here. And I want to kind of be mostly black and red. It's just like some little gold overtones, or undertones, or whatever. And the white's just there because it's supposed to be, I guess. I don't know if it's really supposed to be, or if that's just what everybody does, so I just assume that you have to do that. I am a follower. Okay, I meant to do a lot, but maybe not that abruptly. Oh, that's alright. I'll do a little more here, because this guy a little more empty. It's gonna be really black. A little bit here. Okay. Now, let's see, we've done white twice, we're done with white. We've done black twice, we're done with black. Because I've got so much resin, I want to make sure I don't just like overuse them. So I've got gold and red. Let's do, no, because I'm going to end with red. Let's do red, then gold, then that orangey red again. Hey, cat, you should not be in here when I'm resining. Shoosh. Good girl. She's like, but you're talking and I want to hang out. Okay, red. I really like the black and red, you guys. Kind of wondering if I should just do black and red. And like gold, maybe. Maybe transparent? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I need another color of transparent ink. I just think I do. This is so much harder when it's this thick. This is what I get for pouring when it's cold out. Come on, stop. There we go. So this one might work out either very poorly or very interestingly. Because it's so thick going in, this is like the thickness that the Cricut ends on here. So it might just end up being really like layered circle look rather than that combining thing that I'm looking for. Let's go a little more, come on. I really didn't fill up this D20 very well. Okay. Now a tiny smidge in here. That's a very large tiny smidge, but I guess I needed it because this is less full than I think it is. Alright, now gold. Here, let me just heat it up for a second. Because that's really cold. I guess it may be about time to start turning on the heater when I pour. I'm just used to it being summer, so I just pour whenever I want. Oh, it might be getting a little bit warmer. Maybe I'm just making it up. Maybe I need to really spend some more time heating it up and not just go, yeah, it's warm now, we're good. Because look at this, it's like trickle, trickle, trickle. Now I'm going to try to almost completely fill this up. Because I left kind of a lot of room for, whoa, okay, that is full for the red last time. And we ended up with those really red tops, which I don't want. So hopefully, oh geez, that's way more than I meant to do. Come on, resin, you're too thick. So that might be part of why it ended up just not quite working. Was I had like the red, too much red on top, and then the red on the caps. I know you want to end with transparent with this, but I'm not positive why, because in my theory, the mica goes down, right, because it's heavier, and it kind of pushes the transparent out. So ending with transparent doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me when it comes to that sort of theory. I mean, like it just kind of would stay on top, right? Or in the middle or whatever. And maybe when you're dealing with coasters, part of that is that resin in coasters kind of moves towards the middle, or the colorants in the resin in the coasters sort of move towards the middle. But since we're dealing with dice here, it's more stacked, right? So I'm looking at down instead of edge to middle. So maybe that's kind of the difference. I am not sure, but I think these colors are really pretty. I'm afraid that when I put the orange back in, it's just going to kill it. It's going to look stupid. So it's kind of a lot of gold, because these were more empty than I realized, or because I decided to basically fill them up completely, rather than putting in the transparent on top, or much of the transparent on top. Obviously we're still going a little bit. I'm a little tempted to just do a little more red on the very, very top, but so I'm doing a lot of changes on this one. So this is no longer very scientific as far as trying to figure out what changes what. Okay, see, that looks cool. So my thought for future ones, when I have less resin, is not this full, because this full obviously I wouldn't get the numbers, but to make it close to this full. Oh, there's people at my house. I gotta stop. Bye. All right, I am back and very glad that I was using the longer lasting resin because I had to deal with people. Sorry, I just ran up the stairs to get back to this. I would have let this sit for a while anyway, so it kind of works out, but I let it sit for a few minutes more. Okay, so anyway, what I was saying, I think, is that I would end it a little earlier, lower, let it cure, and then put in white or clear resin with the top, just to kind of keep this cool top thing. But we're not doing that, so let us give it a little more red / orange. Also, I'm not going to use the alcohol ink again, at least for red. That looks so cool. I love the way it looks on top. And then when you put the lid on, you put resin on the lid, right? So it just kind of kills it. So that's why I want to try that clear thing. But not today. Maybe next time. Tomorrow, I guess, because now I'm using a longer curing resin. So it won't be done later today. Okay, so I want them all to be just a little moundy to account for bubbles and stuff, because resin shrinks a little bit. I think I sort of err on the put in too much resin versus too little resin side, because resin can be a little bit finicky, so like that one's got too much. But I would rather have too much, because it'll just squeeze out the sides, than not enough. And now I'm just gonna put this the right way. My lid is actually kind of angled to match my desk, so there you go. So it works out if I put it the right way. Okay. And this doesn't need to be perfect, because this is literally just here to like make sure we don't get voids. So just kind of brush it on with the thing I'm using to pour it, so it is far from an exact science for me. For other people it may well be an exact science, I do not know. Okay. Now, I've used up most of my red, which kind of sucks. I'm just going to leave these to set for a moment. Is our actual set. So, it looks like
we managed to not get any voids, so that's good. There's kind of a little scratchy there. Is that on the master? Oh, that is on the master. Interesting. Huh. This one has one too, yeah. What happened? My dice were so nice. Oh, this is a new, or mold, I mean, not master. This is a new mold, so that sort of sucks. That apparently these two faces are not very happy, but plus side, it's okay because I usually end up having to sand those one faces anyway, so it's no big deal. Okay, let's just kind of pull these out. I kind of get rid of the extra resin first. I think I like to prolong the process of waiting for myself. So I kind of pull off the easy to pull off resin, throw it away, which takes forever because of that static cling. All right, let's take a look at the D2 because it comes out so easily. All right, so still not the dragon skin effect that we were hoping for, but it's pretty. I like it. Even from the back, we don't have that nice sort of distinct circling that we had in the last one, but it kind of looks cooler on the front. So, I don't know. I don't understand what's happening with these. They don't do the same thing ever. Maybe they just decide to do whatever they want. This one has some weird stuff on top too. I think I messed up my masters maybe when I made this mold. I don't know. Anyway, there's our D2. Now let's pull out a D6. It's kind of a thick layer there with that flashing. So this one you could see a lot more of that orange that I really was not a fan of. I don't know if you can because it didn't show up in the resin very well. No, it looks a lot better from this perspective, but you can still sort of see it. See like along here and along the edges. Kind of on top, there's like that orange sheen that I'm not really a fan of. So this one, compared to the last one, I think the last one turned out a lot nicer, actually. This one is not happy with it. I don't know if the alcohol ink just didn't work very well, or because, oh, well, it was orange, so that certainly didn't help. But you just can't really see any cool structure. That's too bad. Let's just pull out the rest. I'm just going to pull them all out because it's easier to do from the top, and then we'll look at them. Okay. Get rid of that excess resin. I'll clean that up later. All right. So, yeah. Still not super happy. I don't like that orange. I was afraid of that. I don't think it worked very well. Let's look at the 20. So it's kind of the orange and the red became our contrasting colors. So red was the second color I put in. So that's interesting because the first color I put in, I didn't write it down, that was stupid, I believe was the gold. And then I did the red, but we can't really see the gold at all at the bottom. Interesting. Okay, maybe I used more mica powder with red, or I did use the Dicetober red. So maybe it's heavier, so it went down to the base more. Or I think it was also like the last color I put in, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Now I want to try something different. Maybe if I do black transparent. I mean, I did black transparent before, but you can barely see it. But do that first instead of the red. And then do red mica powder. And we could see how that looked. Because these, I mean, they're kind of cool. Like, I don't hate them. I just don't like the orange sort of overtone that they got. So that was definitely not the alcohol ink to use for this process. I don't want to get close because I don't know that you can focus as well. But it's still cool because you've still got depth. I don't think you can see that in the camera very well, but like because some of it's transparent and some of it's not. Not everywhere, but in a lot of places there's like depth to the stripes, which is cool. I think if I used more like transparent, maybe at the top like you're supposed to, then you would probably have more of that depth. So, okay. I mean, they're okay. They're not my favorite ever. I still don't really like the way that at top they sort of don't mix, or they don't do the blendy thing that they do elsewhere. This one's more subtle, I guess. Oh, we didn't look at the D4. D4s always turn out the best. I don't know why, except the one face sometimes turns out crappy. But something about like just having a very small amount of area to go, maybe. I don't know. So that's the only place we can see the white, is in the sheen. Like there's a little bit of a white glitter, but you can't actually see white. Can you see it on the other ones? A little tiny bit. So the white really doesn't take over. So I guess having white is not such a bad thing. This is, oh yeah, that's the 20 that was just done. Okay, so what did I learn? I learned that I don't like orange. I don't like orange. I don't like orange in this. I don't like the fact that my red became orange. The red on red doesn't work very well because you don't have any definition, or the red on orange as the case may be. So quit doing that. Go back to the colors I originally had, or change my transparent colors and keep the red mica probably, because I like the sparkly red. I think that's nice. Again, if we go back to our other one, the last one I did, there is that red because I used a red resin tint in my transparent layer, but I didn't use the red sparkles, the red mica. And I think I like, well, I don't know, because the red, I kind of like the transparent red. I don't know. We'll try different things. We'll play with it. We'll see. Overall, not a failure. I don't hate them. I think that they have a lot of cool qualities to them, but not as much of a success as I had hoped. But that is okay. That is the learning process that is resin. All right, so once these get finished, I might stick in a couple pictures at the end if I decide to finish them. Not really sure, but we'll see. I don't even know if I'll end up editing and posting this, but if I do, then you guys will have it on YouTube. Talk to you later. Bye.